Good morning, good morning. As usual, go to the website, learn how you can support, but let's get straight into it. It is Saturday, June 28th. What we've seen over the past week is that citizens, from what I've seen on the left and the right, because we have to use those terms, which are left, Democrats, right, Republican, that's how it's broken down, have on both sides kind of said, hey, what is Congress's role and whether or not we do things or start things that will lead us to conflict. I am a candidate for governor of Florida trying to explain to citizens why it's important that we decide to get power back in the hands of citizens. That's not even get power back, but to actually concrete how power is used by citizens aside from just voting. The reason being is because yesterday there was a vote, there was a piece of legislation brought up to say, hey, before you make these acts that could lead to war, should you have to consult the representatives that American citizens put there? And the Senate voted to say, no, you don't need to talk to us at all. That literally happened yesterday. So the questions are coming. Why are we paying Congress if Congress is saying you don't need to ask us anything? Well, then why are we putting representatives in seats? Why are taxpayers paying money to put you here if you're telling the person that's doing things they don't have to go to you any further? That's our problem in a nutshell. That is our problem. And this is our moment. This is us. Look at any time you've been born, if you're still living today, and when you became of voting age, you tell me there's any person that you've ever voted for that has given you, the citizen, authority over them. I'll wait. I'll wait in the comments for any person that you voted for personally that has made sure that constitutionally they ensured you had power over them. And I'm not talking about representative democracy. I'm talking about the power to tell you no. I honestly, we citizens thought collectively that when you are about to make a conflict, that at minimum you're talking to Congress about it. Now we're having conversations where Congress is saying, you don't need to speak to us about your actions. Guys, the reason they said that is because the executive branch stated that they did not want to share information with certain members of Congress anymore. Taxpayers are paying to put these members in these seats to get information to make sure that we are represented. That's the whole purpose of representative democracy. When you are watching it come apart, then you have people like me that pop up. You have people that say, hey, the system is failing because the people that we're putting there are failing. If you haven't taken accountability yet, then it's a high time that you all do it, just like me. I had to take accountability that when I was voting for people, I was voting hoping that someone would represent the values, the standards, and the morals and the characteristics that I was taught coming up in this world. That if there was a problem, somebody would come on and say they recognize this problem and they would do something about it. And over the years, like I tell y'all, I'm a millennial. I'm 42 years old. I'll be 43 in November. Over the years, I've seen that that is just not always the case. And more times than not, it's not the case. We do know that there are issues and individuals campaign on those issues, and sometimes they just never even bring them up. They get in office. Somehow they start getting paid. I watched a congressional hearing with Ted Cruz, and they were talking about, and they used the term in the congressional hearing, dark money, because no one knows where all these people are getting paid from. But they're getting paid by somebody to make decisions or not make decisions. And right now, to say that, hey, we're going to break the structure, we're going to not allow this to happen. This is the system still accessible in there. We're just not going to use it. doesn't make sense, especially if indeed we are paying taxes for these people to do a job. They're there to do a job. Whenever they're talking, they say, I'm here to represent the American people. Well, then how is it possible that you are simultaneously saying that you don't want to be consulted? You're getting taxpayer money. There's no way to stop that money from going. That's not it. That's just not going to stop because we do have a structure that's in place. So what do we have to do? That's what I'm saying. This is our moment. This is our moment to represent ourselves. One of my videos, I told you, every time I come on, this is my name. This is who I am. And I'm a representative of the idea of direct democracy. I want to stand for citizens having the ability to control their elected officials. And I mean that with every fiber of my being, because we're in the problem. And when you're in a problem, you just have to figure out how you're going to get out of it. And it's not always simple. So I'm not telling any citizen that I have all the answers. I tell you, you can go to my webpage, which if you're on TikTok, is listed in my name. And if you're on YouTube, it's in my description. I'm going to put my link tree on there so you can get to all my information. I have a plan. I go out, I do candidate meet and greets. I see individuals, I meet individuals. I do not stitch because I need for you to know that this is what the content is. The content is simple. Citizens get more control over elected officials. Can we immediately start touching the federal level? The likelihood is no. What's happening up at the federal level will happen. But what we can do is start rebuilding our foundation because it has gotten weak. There is a problem. I have brought that problem up saying right now that representatives do not answer to citizens, and you're seeing it. If there is anybody out here who disagrees, you got to be a lobbyist. You have to be somebody that pays someone enough money for them to vote the way you want them to. That's the only way that's possible, because regular citizens cannot control their elected officials. And we're trying to. We are trying to. That's every follower that I pick up. That's every person that says, you know what? I want to be a part of the solution because this is our problem. This is our time. This is us. And we're going to have to figure this out. We had what we thought was checks and balances, and they are being challenged left and right. And yes, there's a multitude of issues going on everywhere. What we're going to do about it is we're going to start solving them. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it at the state level. I'm a candidate for governor of Florida, November 3rd, 2026, and I am non-party affiliated. I will never ask you to send me donations. The only thing I will ever ask you to do, go to that webpage, download that petition, take it to your supervisor of elections office, and turn in that sheet of paper. That's the only thing I'm asking you to do. That's it. That's the sole investment. Everything else is if you believe that it is your time to try to step in and help correct deficiencies. Because one of the things that I'm hearing right now is everything that's happening now, if indeed we get the other side in, they get to do it too. That is not. If you think it's wrong now, and then when you get in the seat, you want to start doing wrong, the idea of two wrongs don't make a right needs to always be a thing. It needs to always be a thing. Two wrongs don't make a right. So let's do this the right way. Let's restructure our legislation, our statutes, our policies, our Constitution. That Constitution that's a living document. That's the reason it can be amended. The state Constitution is a living document. The federal Constitution, it's a living document. It's a guideline, and we get to decide in our time, because this is us. We get to decide in our time. If things are antiquated and need to change, We need to make them happen. We need to make them happen. So I really want you guys to understand that, hey, if you're looking for that information that I put out today, you can just Google, and you will see that the powers to strike Iran or not, Congress said, no, we don't want you to consult with us about that. You can just Google it and see that it did happen. I really want you guys to go look the information up so that you can validate, because you need to decide who you're going to trust. What are going to be trusted sources? This is our time. And if we want to see different, we got to do different. If you want to be, I think they used to say, be the change that you want to see. And that's why I'm running for governor of Florida. Thank you. You guys have a great day.